Hey guys, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense and welcome to another beautiful Sunday. As with every day, I think it should start with a great quote to kind of motivate you and get you going. So here's today's quote of the day. And oddly enough, I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt in honor of Walt Disney's quote today. That just happened to be a coincidence, but I thought it was a pretty cool one. Today we're talking about Mont Blanc legend. Mont Blanc Legend is a fragrance that came out back in April of 2011. I'll do the math for you as the whiteboard shows, 8 years. So with presentation, one thing that's really interesting about the fragrance world is that it's kind of, I don't know, in your own mind you can do the percentages. For me, it's probably about 40-60 or 30-70 in terms of presentation, you know, the visual aesthetic of a fragrance, and then the actual fragrance quality itself. The question you have to ask yourself anytime, at least I think, anytime you're thinking in terms of whether a fragrance is going to be right for you or whether you like it or not, is how do I feel about it? How do I feel about the way this looks? In other words, how important is visual aesthetic to me? For guys, us guys are really, really visual people. We take our cues are primarily visual. Our attraction to the opposite sex or to anyone is all visual, pretty much all visual. There's a saying that men fall in love with their eyes, women fall in love with their ears because they're auditory. Speaking and, you know, discussing emotions, feelings, thought processes, things like that. Women love that kind of thing. That makes them, that's what attracts them more to a man as opposed to just physical attributes or physical visual aesthetic. Now, I'm not going to go into that because there are several schools of thought. That's not to say that women can't look at a guy and say, wow, he's hot. They do. It happens. In terms of purchasing a fragrance, how important is visual aesthetic, aka looks? What kind of style? There's a book by, I think it's CLNGR. It's called Aesthetic Categories, and Zany, Cute, and Interesting is the title. So like categorizing visual things as whether they're zany, kind of out there, left field, left to center, or if they're cute, which is attractive, or interesting, something that piques your interest or something you want to know more about. The third one is substance more important than style. You've heard that phrase, style over substance. Well, what about substance over style? Or do you demand both out of your fragrance? Do you want the best of both worlds? Do you want it all? If a fragrance has one but not the other, will you pass by it? Is that a big consideration for you? Or will you allow a fragrance to have one and not the other? Or do you have to have them both in order to consider it as a purchase or something that you want to consider having? Now, I don't usually do this in my presentation for a fragrance review, but I want to talk a little bit about the history of Mont Blanc, especially in reference to the actual logo. 1913 is when they created what you could say their brand statement or their mission statement. And the logo or star, it's been called, it's a representation of the actual summit of Mont Blanc. It's really neat when a logo or a brand aspires to be something other than just a graphic design. This particular historicity behind Mont Blanc, the star emblem became the brand logo trademark. It represents a snow-covered peak of Mont Blanc. It's the highest European mountain. And what I like about this is, of course, is the quality. They relate it to the quality. There's reaching a peak. It's like, you know, you could say that's a bucket list. I want to climb the mountain. I want to reach the peak, because then you've really accomplished something. Creating a product that says that with each one of our pins, we've accomplished that. They've got commitment to the highest quality and finest European craftsmanship. That's their claim to fame or their brand. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down now and tell you my favorite thing about this fragrance, hands down, is the design. The pins that Mont Blanc makes, crafts, create. This particular line is called the Meisterstück Resin, UNICEF Resin Classic Ballpoint Style Pin. They've taken the pin, the minimalistic look, yet luxurious, because that's what they're known for, is luxury, style, and combined the two to make the actual container for the fragrance. In style, hands down, they've got it. In fact, I gave it an A++ for style and visual aesthetic. It's an amazing look. I've talked about the medium of black and white in art, And black and silver is very, very similar. It says luxury, it says dependability, it says sensual feel and design. It is elegant, it's very elegant. So I really, really like the actual bottle itself. But some would say we're not here for the looks, we're here for the juice. So let's get to the juice and see if it can match up to the container that it's actually in. Let's talk a little bit about the notes that are in Legend. Top notes, you've got lavender, bergamot, lemon, lemon verbena, actually more of an exotic type of lemon, and you've got pineapple. As usual, you've got fragrant aromatic oils in the top, but then that fruit basket. Everybody has to have the fruit basket in the opening, and I agree, it makes a fantastic opening. It wakes the nose up immediately, says, smell me, look at me, pay attention to me. As we all know, top notes are called top notes because they don't last into the dry down or often into the mid. The heart accord is coumarin, oak moss, geranium, got the flowered, rose, red apple, which is interesting, and dried fruit, or the pomarosa molecule, which is kind of simulates the smell of dried fruits. In the base, we only have two notes, that's sandalwood and tonka bean. So you've got that woodsy, fresh, semi-vanilla almondish kind of feel built in there. I've mentioned before in previous reviews that I don't read a lot about at least about what other people think about a fragrance. Do research on it to see how it was made, where it came from, some of the historicity as we've talked about, just to kind of be informed and inform you. And then I actually wear it. And I wore this for about a week. And I have to say, a week is probably a good word to describe most of the effect that this fragrance has and had on me. I'm not super impressed. Mont Blanc Legend Eau de Toilette is the incarnation of a resolutely masculine fragrance, both modern and timeless, with depth, modernity, and the right amount of discreet mystery. Discreet mystery, does that mean you can keep a secret if you're having an affair? I don't know what that means, discreet mystery. Like not giving it all away, you know? Like I guess that's saying that a girl loves a man of mystery, you know, someone that's a little bit mysterious, that just doesn't play all of his cards at once or show his hand at once. I guess I can understand that. Is Mont Blanc Legend that? In a way it kind of is, because you've got those notes within the framework of a top mid base, but it's not necessarily mysterious so much as it is a promise maker that doesn't necessarily keep its promises. You like my little guy there? It's like the extra Backstreet Boy. This is the unused Mont Blanc Alt Man. Too much effort to be seductive, vaguely charismatic, but lacked confidence. Not timeless, he's kind of stuck in the 80s, and he can't keep a secret to save his life. So they didn't use him, they used the other guy in the black turtleneck. It's classic. Let's talk about the open. Legend has a great fruit basket, flowery. I could smell the fruits right away. You can smell the bergamot, lavender. My favorite thing about this fragrance is the open, because the open promises so much. It's really nice and it's really fresh. It is a bit mysterious because it piques your interest. It makes you think, wow, I really like this. What's it gonna do? That's the question you immediately ask yourself with the opening of Legend is, what is this gonna do? Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna take me? Then you get into the mid. There's quite a few notes in the mid. I don't think the mid is as effective as it wants to be in Legend. Coumarin, you've got your geranium, you've got your oak moss, which we'll talk a little bit more about the oak moss because I think this is where it starts to go awry a little bit. You've got your dried fruit, your rose, your red apple. Those are all coming to the fore in the mid. It is more of a fresh summertime heat affected fragrance. So I think it's best utilized in warmer weather. Again, the dry down only has tonka bean and sandalwood. So you do get that fresh aromatic woodsy flavor, the woodsy almondy warm blanket kind of feeling or sensation. I'm a kind of person that I like to give my honest opinion about something, but I don't ever want to step on anyone's toes. You know, like if someone's favorite, you know, if you're wearing your favorite t-shirt and it's got crap smeared all over it, I'll probably say, yeah, that's really interesting. Why do you want to wear it? because it stinks and it's not that good looking. I can't lie about it because I'm a horrible liar, because I always got to tell the truth about it. And I'm going to tell you the truth about Legend, and I don't think it's that great. Okay, now that we've covered the open, the mid, and the dry down, let's move on to the projection. What kind of projection can you expect from Legend? Well, pretty weak, gotta be honest. I would say in a percentage about 35%, which is a skin scent. So I will say this, my wife and my daughter usually have an unsolicited comment about something that I'm wearing. They're usually like, what is it this time? Or, you know, what's the name of that? Or I really like that, or what is that? Neither of them said anything about Legend when I was wearing it, which led me to believe that they couldn't really smell it, because I never really smelled it on myself until I put that body part up to my nose that I had sprayed it on earlier. So projection is definitely weak. Well, how long did it last? What about the tenacity? Well, the tenacity also follows through. To give it a percentage, I'd say 45%. It's roughly about 3 to 4 hours. I didn't get more than 4 hours out of Legend. Briggs & Myers has a personality test, and using that baseline, I would say that Legend is an introvert. Introverts work alone or in small groups. They prefer a deliberate or smaller space, and they like to focus on one thing at a time. At least it's true to form, it is consistent. The sillage is not that great. I rated it at a 1 foot RRT, rapidly receding trail. You have to be highly active. As I mentioned earlier, I usually get unsolicited responses from my wife and daughter, but I actually had to pursue these and kind of ask what they thought of it. So I sprayed it on a tester strip, and I also let them smell it on my arm where I'd sprayed it, and I got the same response from both. Now, the first response I got from my daughter was, I like it. It smells like Belk. She's a mall rat. Now, when I asked my wife, she felt more like I did and said, smells like a standard shaving gel or cream. Now, of course, the only opinion that really matters is naked eyes. Promises, promises. I knew you'd never keep all of your promises. Why do I believe? I know I'm saying, you know, negative things about it, but I did and I do enjoy the top notes in the fragrance itself. That vibrant, wake me up sensation, and the promise of more to come. The only problem is the more never came. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for my review of Mont Blanc Legend. I'm not saying don't run out and buy it. I'm just saying be careful when you do. Try a texture, maybe a decant or a sample before you actually buy a 50 or 100 ml bottle of this, and then decide like me, it's just not for you. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching and supporting me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.